Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, starseed astrologer and spiritual messenger from sacredsoulempowerment.com, here to do your weekly angel card reading for Monday, April 17th through Sunday, April 23rd, 2017. So our message this week is going to be coming from the Angel Tarot deck by Doreen Virtue, and your special message card, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Messages from Your Angels, also by Doreen Virtue. So we have a really busy week astrologically, but before we get into that, let's go ahead and take a look at your stones of choice. So your first stone of choice is net jasper. Now these, just like last week's weekly reading, are 3 new stones that I've never had before. The net jasper is actually used to complete projects and to complete endings of any kind, and it clears the way for new things on your path. Again, that's net jasper. Your second stone of choice, this is included crystal. It's called included crystal. And it's actually got a little bit of earthy, reddish hue to one end of it here, and the rest of it is kind of like a quartz crystal, actually. And the included crystal helps to aid in emotional healing by releasing past life trauma or early childhood memories that may have caused fear or stress in your life. It can also help to amplify any energy or intention that you send out. And then your third stone of choice, let's see if I can pronounce this one correctly. This is called cataclosite. It's with a C, cataclosite. And this particular stone, which I've never heard of and never seen before, actually has snake energy healing. And I know a lot of you might be shivering in your seats right now, but I really like the symbology of the snake. It's one of my totem animals. For transformation and change, like a snake shedding its skin. So again, this is snake energy healing, and it has the vibration of healing energy all about it. It nourishes the heart, the soul, and the spirit, and it opens you up to new pathways in your life. So again, our stones of choice are the net jasper, the included crystal, and the cataclosite. Okay, so before we get into the astrology of the week, I want to remind you that I did a recent soul reflections video that you can find on my YouTube channel under Colleen Lemma. And that soul reflections video, if you haven't seen it already, is about the Chiron Venus conjunction, both squaring Saturn. And of course, Chiron is the wounded healer, Saturn is the great teacher about lessons, and Venus is a planet that rules both relationships and partnerships, as well as money and finances. And I bring that up as a reminder because at the end of this week, astrologically, we do have something concerning that. So anyway, if you haven't seen that video, you might want to go back and watch it. So to begin this week astrologically, on Monday the 17th, we have the Sun, which is still in Aries at this time, the first sign of the zodiac, about independence and leadership and taking charge, and you know, that whole idea about new beginnings, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's in a very positive connection called a trine to Saturn in Sagittarius. And of course, Saturn is the teacher of lessons, or some astrologers like to call it the Lord of Karma. And so this is about lessons and learning about things of a Sagittarius nature. And Sagittarius rules our belief systems. Okay, it also rules inspiration and being positive and seeing things with the glass half full kind of mentality, and about seeing the bigger picture of what's going on in our life. And with the Sun in a positive aspect to Saturn, I feel like there's something starting to be manifested of a positive nature, something that's starting to kind of cement in, if you will, because Saturn is a planet of manifestation. And I feel like this has to do with whatever changes might have started to occur for you, or a redirection that started to happen last week when the sun actually connected with Uranus. Because Uranus brings quick, sudden changes and redirections. And last week, the sun actually connected with Uranus, and now it's coming forward to make this positive connection to Saturn. So whatever changes started to happen within the last week, or maybe even up to a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, there's starting to be now a clarity and a focus and a groundedness with this like new direction towards blessings. On Wednesday the 19th, the sun is now moving out of Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, and moving into Taurus, the second sign of the zodiac. For now, the next month, the sun will be in the sign of Taurus, and Taurus rules money and finances and our sense of self-worth and how we value ourselves. So it also rules our values in general as well as working on projects or working on things or focusing on things. Taurus is an earth sign, so it's all about being grounded and being focused and taking the next small step towards what it is that you want to accomplish. Taurus is an energy to where it might not be as fast moving as Aries, because Aries is a fire sign and it's like, running forth or galloping forward. Taurus is more like the bull, step by step, inch by inch, and it might move pretty slowly, but it's still very grounded and practical in the decisions that it's making, and it's making sure that it feels secure before making that next step. And then on Thursday, the 20th, the sun, again, newly in the sign of Taurus, is now connecting with Mercury retrograde in Taurus. So it's again around that first degree, both the sun and Mercury. And pretty soon Mercury, actually the same day, later in the day on Thursday, Mercury actually retrogrades back into Aries. Okay, so first it connects with the sun, giving us again maybe some ideas or something to focus our energies on. And then later in the day on Thursday, because Mercury is a pretty fast moving planet, Mercury is retrograding back into Aries, where it's going to be until, it's going to be retrograde until May 3rd before it goes direct, and it's going to be in the sign of Aries until May 24th. And Mercury in Aries can be all about, again, new inspirational ideas, new thoughts, new messages that come in, as far as this idea of our sense of individuality, our sense of self, our sense of leadership, and new beginnings on our path. Now, also on Thursday, if that weren't enough, we also have Pluto, the planet of power and control, death and rebirth, transformation and regeneration, turning to retrograde motion at 19 degrees of Capricorn. Now, Pluto is a very slow-moving planet, so it's going to be retrograde from April 20th all the way till almost the very last day of September. I think it's the second or third day from the end of September before it turns direct. So because Pluto moves so slowly, when it goes retrograde, or when any planet that moves very slowly goes retrograde, we feel it most intensely when it first goes retrograde, the first couple of days before and after that initial change of direction, as well as when it comes back to turn direct, to direct motion. We also feel like an intensification of the energies of what that planet is all about around that same time period. So here we are on the 20th of April, and Pluto turns retrograde. So we might feel this upsurgence, whether in our personal lives or within the energies of the collective of humanity and what's going on in the world. We're going to feel some things about power and control issues. We're going to see some things maybe start to come to light that were hidden, because Pluto rules the subconscious, and Pluto rules in mythology the underworld, things that are hidden that we can't really see, or truths are exposed when this change of direction happens with Pluto. So again, you're going to feel an upsurging energy of transformation and change, big change with Pluto that occurs around that time. And then on Friday the 21st, Mars, the planet of action and forward movement, is moving out of Taurus and moving into Gemini. Now, Mars is a fire planet, and it likes to move fast. And while it was in Taurus the last little while, it was very slow, progressive movement, just as I talked about when I told you about the sun moving into Taurus. But now that it's moving in Gemini, and Gemini is an air sign, if you consider for a moment, what does fire and air do to one another? Well, the air feeds the fire and makes it bigger, right? So here we have this fire planet Mars moving into air signs. So things are going to get a little bit more upbeat. Things are going to happen a little bit faster. Things are going to be a little bit more chaotic because Gemini is this mutable kind of energy. So it's going to be juggling things, many things going on at once, wearing many hats, trying to organize a lot of stuff at the same time. And a lot of it's mental too. So there might be this mental energy fused with action, physical energy that's going on. So it's like burning the candle at both ends and then burning yourself out, which you don't necessarily want to do. So plan your days and your projects and what you need to accomplish very wisely. And you might find that your physical energy kind of goes in spurts while Mars is in that sign of Gemini, which is going to be, I didn't look up the time for that, but probably for at least the next 4 to 6 weeks. And then also on Friday, we have Venus squaring Saturn. Now, this is the third time that this aspect has taken place since the beginning of the year. If you think back to around January 27th, that was the first time that Venus squared Saturn or challenged Saturn. April 8th, which wasn't that long ago, was the second time because Venus is in retrograde motion. And actually, it just went direct last week. No, maybe it's going direct. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, sorry about that. But April 8th was the second time period. See, excuse my scatteredness with Mars and Gemini here. And then April 21st, which is the date that we're talking about, is the last time. So yeah, Venus went direct last week. All right. Now, the reason why this is important is, because Venus rules relationships, partnerships, it rules money and finances, it rules our sense of self-worth or worthiness or deservedness issues, how we value ourselves. And Venus is connected right now through transit with Chiron, the wounded healer. So it's bringing up this wound regarding these issues that I just mentioned that are stemming from the past or stemming from past lifetimes. And again, both Chiron and Venus here are challenging Saturn. So there's lots of lessons involved or clearing of old karma that's involved. And again, this was something that perhaps started way back in January that deal with, again, relationships or money in some way or how we value ourselves. So this is a very important thing to pay attention to. And just a little sneak peek preview of Monday, because there's an early morning Monday transit that happens. Mercury in Aries will be in a positive connection with Saturn in Sagittarius. So this is going to help to ground in some new ideas about some things, but we'll talk more about that next week as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the cards and see what our angels have as far as messages for the week. All right, so good. We start out with Major Arcana number 12, and this is with Archangel Gabriel in this particular deck, and it's called Awakening. In the traditional tarot, this is called the Hanged Man. It's about looking at things from a different perspective. And if you notice here in this image, the angel is upside down and sideways. And so because she's upside down and sideways, she's definitely having to look at things from a different perspective. The message at the bottom actually says that. Look at things from a different perspective. A temporary standstill. Okay, when you think about the Hanged Man being hung upside down, there's maybe a temporary standstill with the energy before we can move forward with things. And then the last thing it says is it's important to be yourself. So we're going through an awakening on the level of the mental realm. We're going through an awakening as far as what our belief systems were, and we're changing those belief systems and looking at our lives and circumstances and situations and relationships, again, from a different perspective. We're starting to try to understand from a higher vantage point, because this is an archangel, we're understanding from a higher vantage point what all of these energies, again, circumstances and situations in our lives that are happening, what it's truly all about from a higher realm, from a higher self perspective here. And we're awakening to a truth that maybe we didn't see before. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the second card, get more information. Archangel Gabriel, or Gabriel, by the way, is the messenger angel. So pay attention to messages that you might receive throughout this week. The second card, though, is the Eight of Water. And of course, water is the cup suit about our emotions and feelings. And it says at the bottom, a desire to move on, the search for something more meaningful, spiritual, and emotional growth. So the Eight of Water, or the Eight of Cups, is normally about feeling disempowered by something on an emotional level, because that number 8 is all about our sense of empowerment. Okay, so we want to move out of disempowerment and move towards empowerment. And again, this is on an emotional level. Our feelings are involved here. So we're releasing and letting go of old karmic ties or cords that bind us, maybe to certain people or certain situations or certain, again, disempowering energies or ideas that are holding us back. And with this card, it's pretty much saying we're ready to move on. We want to move on. We want to become more empowered. We want to feel better emotionally. And the way to do that is to, again, move towards a sense of self-empowerment and leave behind those things that are no longer working for us. Now, if you notice in the imagery, we have 8 cups here, but only 3 of them really stand out. Again, it doesn't mean that everything in your life is disempowering or everything has to be let go necessarily. These 3 cups that stand out are the cups that you can still kind of hold on to. It's the cups you can still see very clearly. But those other 5 cups that are kind of fading into the background of the ocean here, those maybe are the situations or circumstances or relationships that perhaps there's a disempowering quality to, and that it's time to again move on from. Let's take a look at the last card for the week. And the last card, okay, we have another water card. So the emotions are really coming into play this week. This is the Queen of Water. And at the top it says tender-hearted, empathetic, patient, and loving. At the bottom it says relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition. Care for yourself and others. So this is kind of the divine feminine energy at its strongest. This is about nurturing, healing, counseling, guiding. I feel, first of all, that, and I think I mentioned this in a previous video, maybe I mentioned it in my Soul Reflections video, to come together with people of like mind. And I especially was speaking to women in this regards, but it's not just about women. It can be about men as well, because all of us have a divine feminine side, that nurturing, caretaking, loving, mothering, caring kind of side to us. And I was talking about women coming together to empower each other, women coming together to nurture each other, to help guide each other, or just be a listening ear to each other, because that's really what the mother is all about, is about being that listener, that nurturing aspect, to emotionally support us and hold us up when we're going through a tough time. And I feel like this is about doing that for other people, or other people doing that for us this week, because we're all going through a lot of change and transformation. We're all moving through certain circumstances and situations that might be a little challenging, and our emotions might be a little bit up and down and all over the place. So I'm feeling like we're emulating the Queen of Water here by being that nurturing, loving, listening ear for others. But also, again, other people this week, because the court cards often will indicate other people in our lives, are also going to be that for us. Now, it does say that relationships develop to a deeper level. So that definitely can be the case, especially as we're moving through old stuff. Just because we have a lot of things going on with Venus and Chiron and Saturn, it doesn't mean that, family or friendship or romantic relationships are all going to end. But they do need to change. As we're changing, as we're evolving, as we're releasing certain karmic patterns, and they are doing the same, the relationship is going to go through a transformation and a change. And sometimes that transformation and a change means to let it go if it's not supporting us in the way that we need to be supported, or it's not in alignment with our truth anymore. But sometimes if both people can stay on the same page with each other and keep the lines of communication and support for one another open, then the relationship can evolve and change as well. And a lot of healing can take place between individuals. okay? All right, let me see if there's anything else that our angels and guides want to share. I also feel like there's going to be a heightening of our intuitive and psychic energies, because we have a couple of water cards and because we have the awakening card over here. So I feel like we're going to be awakening to our gifts, our talents, our intuitions, our psychic abilities. So start to pay attention to that a little bit more. All right, so let's take a look at our special message card depending on your stone of choice. So for those of you that chose the net jasper, I'm going to give this a little bit of a shuffle, calling in our angels and archangels. Let's take a deep breath together and ask for the message for the net jasper people. Net jasper. Okay, this one here actually that was on the bottom kind of calls me, so I'm going to pull that one. And this one is opal, and it says, your children on earth and in heaven are happy and well cared for by God and the angels. Now, this could definitely be taken literally, to where our angels and guides want us to know that our family, our children, whether they're grown children or little children, are being watched over, that we're being protected and guided. But I also felt right away when I turned this over that this was about our inner child. I feel like with all of the healing energies going on, that we're doing a lot of inner child work and healing, and that we're needing to almost in meditation or in a visualization go to our younger selves, go to the young child within us and tell her that she's loved and that she's beautiful and that she's well taken care of, and that you're going to help to guide her to the next step, and that she doesn't have to be fearful or anxious anymore. Whatever occurred in the past, and whether this be in your home and family growing up as a child, or whether this be maybe previous lifetime things, speaking with and talking to your inner child is going to help to heal her. And that's the first thing that I felt when I turned this over, was that you needed to be a mother. And again, the Queen of Water is the mother. So you need to be the mother to yourself, to your own little child within, and nurture her and calm her. And again, let her know that she's worthy and deserving of everything that she needs and everything that she wants. Okay, let's see if there's anything else here. Okay. I'm not really getting anything else with that, so let's put that down. And then for the people that chose the included crystal. Okay, the included crystal. They keep on drawing me back to this one for a minute. So there's something about angelic guidance. Listening, there's like some sort of angel message that's coming in for you, or angelic guidance. So call upon, I feel like it's a guardian angel. So call upon your guardian angel. And it has something to do with healing the emotions. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so the included crystal. All right, this one's calling my attention here. Is Shanti. And Shanti says, I am the angel of peace. I bring you new tranquility and a smoother road ahead. So right away I'm drawn to the orange color here, and this is all about sacral chakra energy, which is our center of creative self-expression, our center of passion. And so I feel like we're needing to tune into that creative self-expression within us. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean that, that it's about art or music, but anything that you can do that kind of stirs that passionate nature within you. This could be you, again, getting in touch with the inner child and letting the inner child come out and play. So do something fun, do something playful to satisfy that inner child. Do something creative, draw or dance, or wear something more colorful, or change up your home a little bit, or put a splash of color with flowers or pillows or something in your home. Doing something colorful and creative is going to be helpful this week. But also, again, the message is about peace. So I feel like we're needing to focus on, because of all these changing energies, we have a couple of planets changing signs this week. We have Pluto going retrograde. So I feel like our mantra has to be, my life and my beingness are always in a state of peace and balance. My life and my beingness are always in a state of peace and balance. You know, however it is you want to phrase that, I feel like this is something that needs to be your mantra this week. I also getting the message that for some reason taking a leadership position or leadership stance on something is going to bring balance back into your life. So again, something is out of balance or you're disempowered in some way, and by taking some sort of leadership stance or taking charge in some way, it's going to help to bring that sense of balance and peace back in your life. All right. And for those of you that chose the cataclosite, let's give that a little shuffle and ask for the message from our angels and guides for cataclosite people. Okay, this one on the bottom is calling me again. This is Bridget. And Bridget says, caution is warranted. Look deeper into the situation before proceeding further. Now, this is not a negative card. It's not a bad or scary card. I know that starts out with the word caution, which a lot of people, you know, maybe have a fearful or negative connotation with. All this is saying is that we have to slow down a little bit, to not leap forward too quickly or too fast, because there's something deep inside that we need to understand first, that we need to go within, look within, meditate, contemplate, to understand, why is this situation happening in my life? What is the dynamic? What is the source of this pattern? What is within me that's, you know, reflecting this back to me? Whatever that might be, it's something that needs to really be understood so that you can release it and let it go and move forward in the best possible way for yourself. So again, it's not saying that you can't move forward. It's just saying that you have to understand something on an inner level first before you can move forward in the best possible way for you. This image shows Bridget looking into what looks like some sort of a pot, a pottery. I don't know if it's metal or made out of clay, but there's light shining from it. And so, again, it's almost like there's something blessed in that pot. There's something wonderful inside of there, and you can see that it's shining out. So you know it's a blessing because the light is coming right out of the top of that pot. But she just can't see in that pot because the hole's too small, okay? She knows there's something good in there. She just has to, again, like dig a little deeper, maybe reach her hand in there with trust and faith and kind of pull it out of there in order to understand or see what it is. Okay, so I hope you've liked this weekly angel card reading. Sending, as always, much love and light to each and every one of you, and thanking all of you for your support and for liking and sharing and commenting on my videos, subscribing to my channel, to being my Facebook friend if you are, and commenting on my daily posts through there as well, which is under 2 pages, Colleen Lemma, as well as a page called Sacred Soul Empowerment. So again, sending much love and light to each and every one of you, and many, many angel blessings.